Hi everyone, Shelldon here from Durban Safaris and Tours. I am standing in the beautiful Drakensberg mountain district, and I have guests today that have gone up into Lesotho, and that's actually the reason for this video. There's been some changes made to the pub at the top of Sani Pass. So for many people coming out to South Africa, they want to go up into Lesotho, and one of the reasons is because they get to have lunch at the highest pub in Africa. And this is great when there's a few people. The pub is not very big, it's in a remote area, so when there's a couple of people, 10, 20, 30 maybe, that's fine, the pub can accommodate everyone. But when there's a rush of tourists from all over the place, and there's sort of 100 people milling around, then it's a problem. The lunches are very slow, people start complaining, tour operators and tour guides like myself then start going harassing kitchen staff, because obviously we want our guests to be happy. And this has been a situation that's been brewing for quite some time, and eventually the pub said enough, right? They're the ones who get basically told off. They're the ones that get the poor reviews when food is taking an hour to come out, an hour and a half, and it's simply because it's just too many people there. So as a result, the pub has instituted some new rules, and it's pretty simple. They are limiting the amount of guests that can visit the pub to 40 a day. On top of that, of those 40, they're breaking it up into two sort of sessions, a morning session and an afternoon session, 20 and 20 apiece. So the new rule says that if you as a guest are coming to book, I have to book a spot for you at lunch. However, I can only book your spot. I can only make a reservation in the month in which the tour is going. So in other words, I can't book for you for March if we're in February. I can only book for you in March if we are in March. All right. So visitors coming out, they might come out and send me a message sort of in January or February saying, we're coming out in June, July, we'd like to book. So what's going to happen is I'm going to say, all right, that's great, going up is not a problem at all, but lunch at the pub itself, we're going to put you on a provisional booking list. And the minute the bookings open on the 1st of that month, we will make those bookings. The other problem or challenge is that the pub itself is also saying, look, there's a number of tour operators, it's got to be fair. We can't have one tour operator booking up everything, so they'll be allocating space to all the tour operators, which means then I might only have on that day 3 or 4 spots available. And so amongst the tour operators itself, we'll figure it out. But my point of this video is that going to the highest pub in Africa is now not guaranteed, not for me, not for any tour operator. I'm going to say 80% of the time that's actually not going to be an issue, because most tourists tend to come midweek or during the course of the week, and it's not that busy. But weekends is where it can get busy. So that may be the issue there. All right. So that's the first thing. The other thing that's changed is that we now have to pay a 200 Rand reservation fee. So that means I'm going to take your booking, you're going to pay your rate for the day trip, but on the day of the tour itself, you're going to have to pay an extra 200 Rand per person. But you will get that 200 Rand back. It's not being lost. It is redeemable at the pub. So when you go to the pub and you have your lunch, they will bring you your bill and they will automatically deduct 200 Rand off that bill. All right. So those are the two big changes that are happening. The fact that we now have to reserve seats and that seats are limited. And number 2, you are going to have to pay an extra 200 Rand on the day, but you redeem that. All right. So hopefully that's clear. Like I say, 80% of the time, it's not actually going to influence anyone, but there we are. Okay. So look forward to seeing you all. If you want to book a day trip, a multi-day, you can get hold of me on www.durbansafarisandtours.com. Have a great day.